Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, in today's video is going to be the Gley setup that, honestly, you should be using, but you might have never heard of this. So let's get right on into it. Starting off with the build, we are going to be using mid-air maneuvering. This is so we can navigate and use movement correctly with Gley, so that's going to be the main thing with that. Next up, for our red module, we will be using Explosive Life. This is a nuking build with Gley, and honestly, this is a very top tier build, and it saddens me that more people don't use this. So, let me give you the setup on how you run this. We're going to start off with cooldown. Now with cooldown, we just want to go with MP conversion and with nimble fingers. Next up, we are going to go with focus modules, but we're only going to go with one, that being focus on dimension. So that's more than enough in terms of this setup. Now, when it comes to the other parts, we want to amplify our damage and our range with Gley. So for range, it's going to be the two standard range modules, skill expansion and amplification control. And for the damage, we are going to be using the amplification modules. So in Gley's instance, we would be using non-attribute amplification along with dimension amplification, because she is a non-attribute type Pokemon and a dimension type Pokemon. So now we've got 3 slots left. So what can we possibly do with these? Looking at Gley's ability over here, you can see we're still missing a little bit, and stuff can also 100% be improved. So the first thing we're going to do is decrease the cost. We're going to go with strong mentality for this instead of maximized conservation, just to preserve and, you know, keep more damage on the setup. Next up, we're going to have our loop stuff, and we are also going to increase our power a bit more. So we're going to be using power increase for this specifically, and then to finish the loop off and allow us to loop Gley properly, we will be using multi-talented. Now, if you do have an ancestor mod, the only thing you need on your ancestor mod is going to be cooldown, specifically just cooldown. Duration does not matter on this build, but if you get a negative duration, you can still make it work, as you can see here. But cooldown is the only thing you need. If you get that, replace multi-talented with it. Now, for the tweaking. For the trigger module, because this is a skill build, Power Beyond every single time. I've had a lot of people ask me why Power Beyond gets used on characters where it doesn't show up. For example, it's not showing up on Gley. The reason for that is you can see the DOT or ground DOT triggers the void recharge. If we look at this over here, you can see basic skill information is a skill power increase. That is just a basic flat increase that's on there all the time, no matter what you do. Then if you go underneath it, you can see void recharge as a separate stat, and then the amorphous phenomenon as another stat as well. All of these stats are separate, and the skill power increase from this just comes simply from equipping it. It is literally a free 15% power strength, and that's literally it. So that's what we are going to go with on this. Now, let's have a look at the reactor. Before we do that real quick, I am going to shove the weapons in with Gley. So for the weapons, we are going to be using a Peacemaker for our first weapon. For our second weapon, we will be using a Last Dagger. Literally, the element is completely up to you. Let's use a Chill Dagger. And then for the final weapon, we will be using a Restored Relic. Pretty much the most goated system or goated setup you can use on Gley. So that's going to be our weapons. For our reactor, you want a maternalized phase reactor with non-attribute and dimension on it, and then you want non-attribute and dimension on it again. This is going to allow you to run with basically maximum damage. You want as much damage on this build because this build is basically just top tier straight nuke. Even for our external components, we're going to go with straight DPS comps, so we're going with the mage set on Gley. Now, for the substats on here, ideally you'd want max HP and fire resistance, then you'd want max MP and chill resistance, you'd want defense and electric resistance, and then toxic resistance on here. Now, if you do have these comps for Valby and all of these other descendants, just using the MP stuff is all completely fine. For your comps though, the most important thing is just max HP on all of them, and defense is basically another optional as well. I've got fire resistance because I was messing around with Lava Citadel, but just max HP and defense on all of your cores. Next up, the Arche tuning for Gley. because this is a DPS build and you are using this on skills, you want to go this way, go up here, build your way all the way up to the top over here, then go up here to singular dimension tuning. This will make your cost even less and allow you to hit your range cap fully. So this is why we're going with that. You could also use the non-attribute cohesion. That also isn't too bad. And then we've still got 4 nodes spare, so a little skill power and a little HP would be nice. Simple, right? Next up, let me talk about her weapons and inversions. For her weapons, I've gone with this on her substats. This is because this is a mainly for a movement weapon, 20% sprint speed and the grapple. If you do, however, use the Peacemaker in this specific setup, you can use it with the nuking setup. If you do want to use it as a stat stick though, you would rock it with these modules instead. More Puti Laoni, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you'd want to run it with just the basic stat stick setup, or you could use it as a DPS weapon. You most likely won't. You just want to use it as a stat stick. Now, with this as well, if you want to use it as a stat stick, you could go with more sprint speed on there, like 60% for example, but I do like to have 1 grapple on there, so basically just a sprint stat stick in my eyes is going to be best. I'll use this one. Sorry, this is the right one you want to be using, fire rate, not the rounds one. I'm tweaking. As for the dagger, this is what I've got on the dagger. The heavy thing is that you want to make sure you've got the 220% fire rates. For nuking is kind of crazy, so that is the main thing that you'd want to go with. Other than that, for your build on Gley, you'd want to be going with something like this. Just use these 2 slots to match the element. As I'm going with chill, I'll just slap the 2 chill mods on. So that's basically what you'd want to go with on the dagger. Now, for the relic, you want to be using fire. Because the inversions have basically gone for the round inversions, you can no longer change your element and still get a crazy damage increase. We were basically being carried by the inversion. The relic has fire built into the weapon from its unique ability, so we just go all into fire, and this is going to be the most damage for Gley. Now, with this, these are the modules that you would want to use for Gley when it comes to the relic. That's pretty much it. Simple as it gets. Next up, the inversions. Now for the inversions, we have a fair few options. Ideally, you do want to grab a HP inversion for Gley, and then strike point amplification is also a decent one for your relic. You could either go with skill cost, or you could go with a sword one, or something of the sort. In this instance, I am going to be going with skill cost, just to make the orbs cost even less when it comes to her power of life. As you can see here with Gley, we've almost hit the damage cap of 300, and with this, you can see our cooldown's 2 seconds, our power of life's 1.6. With our cooldown on here, you can see when using Gley's second ability, this will proc multi-talented and allow this loop to be perfect. It's kind of rough, but 100% it does work, because you basically want to be using her second ability and then her third ability to get the perfect infinite loop. However, if you do use the Ancestor mod, as I showed, just having cooldown on there will change this loop to being 5 seconds to 5 seconds, literally a perfect loop for Gley. Now, with all of that out of the way, let me show you some gameplay with her. I am going to go run the crater mission with Gley real quick, and I'll show you how this works, because you just want to focus and you do want to just grab her blood orbs. Now, the main thing being, you just go in, you can go straight in with the relic for the first cycle, and ideally you just want to grab the blood orbs, or grab 2 blood orbs and you're basically balling. That's 1 there, and that's 1 there, and then you can just nuke the rest using the blood orbs. You press her second ability, then her third ability, and then you can infinite loop with this, with the relic. With me, because I have the Ancestor mod, I don't even need to do that. You guys hop in, come, run the mission. So you can basically use Relic Gley properly, and they're running towards you anyways at this point. I've got Apocalyptos running Freyna, just to show you what Gley is like when it comes to comparing to a regular mobbing Descendant. As you can see here, when it comes to using Explosive Life, even if you want to be 1-button Gley, after you've got her orbs down, you can just spam her too, and she robs kills from every mobbing Descendant. Freyna can literally not even get her own kills. Ines cannot get her own kills. Hell, Bunny cannot even get her own kills when Explosive Life Gley comes out. And when you are using this with a dagger or with just use a weapon with ammo, infinite ammo and stuff like that as well, the loop can easily be maintained and you don't even need to be close. With Explosive Life Gley, you can literally stand 200 or 100 plus meters away, and as long as there's mobs over there, you will still be able to hit the mobs if the blood orb spawned, but Serena's not letting anything spawn, kind of cooked. But yeah, even with these over here, Serena's just taking them out immediately, and I have run out of blood orbs, so I just have to wait for some mobs to spawn, kill them once and then get some more orbs. Easy enough, just do that. There's some blood orbs over there. Now I can just easily go back into nuking. And as I was talking about the distance with this build, you can just stand all the way over here. 100 plus meters is not a problem with this. Hell, if I wanted to stand outside the crater and still nuke, that is still a possibility. You can see here, 80 meters. This goes through walls and everything as well, and stuff like that. Like, range with Gley is genuinely not even close to being a problem. And on top of that, you've got Gley's literal infinite loot. That is the most cracked thing about this build. You've got both variations of Gley, and you can have a nuking Gley as well as the gunning Gley, which is the main thing that you would want. Even in terms of all of this, you basically end up with the Gley that you'd normally use, and you just get a even more capable variation of her as well. In terms of this, I'm just going to do this, pop her third ability and just gun this one down with the dagger. I know I'm probably not doing the most damage over there, but even in that quick run over here, in a 2.5 minute crater run, Gley did 475 million damage. Considering that I can stand in one position after I've got 2 blood orbs, this is just such a nice and lazy build. In dungeons, this will nuke across the dungeon without a problem. Axion's a good example of it as well, and you should 100% give this Gley build a shot if you haven't already. But anyways guys, that's been today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!